Belinda, thank you very much for taking the time just to sort of have a conversation today.
Just having this sense that we're at quite a turning point in our development now, because we've had a few years of really trying to establish ourselves as a national organisation, to pique people's interest in us, to engage them with us, to celebrate where we've come from, to begin to share. And I think last summer was a real coming together of that. And in our joint conference with the British Gestalt Journal, when so many people came and there was such a kind of vibrant energy for just being together, chewing the cud together, thinking things through. And although, there are maybe things I think we learned a lot from running that conference, there was something wonderful about the presence of the American Association for Gestalt Therapy too. They came and had their big meeting of their organising committee straight after our conference. Yeah. And it really felt at that point that we'd kind of finally landed. We finally were a national organisation. I think there's something about us beginning to take on the mantle of a national organisation and think what we can do with and on behalf of our community and what our role is now at a particularly challenging point in history.
How does that tie into what we're going to be doing with this year's conference?
Well, this year's conference is really all about where are we going as a Gestalt community and how do we want to position ourselves in the world. We as an organising committee have felt very strongly that over the past year we've had some pretty strong signals from the environment that have not made us feel good about where Gestalt is and how it's positioned in the field.
And the focus of our conference is this sense of sort of here and now, but what next? We've been talking about the way that we're promoting the conference to our membership is on the basis of some of these challenges that we have. How do we think what do we think we'll be doing with those at the conference? How will the conference support the development of that dialogue with a view to moving forward?
Our starting point as Gestaltists is about the paradoxical theory of change. And so we have to have a fully embodied, lived, collective, collaborative experience and recognition of what is. I think that's the here and now part, kind of where are we? There have been some quite worrying things happening. But we don't want to, as a national organisation, we feel that we have a responsibility not just to wallow in self-pity about, how awful it is that people don't see us, don't value us, that we are, because I don't think that's true for many practitioners. I think people who are working in the National Health Service, in social work, in education like me, are really respected for the work that we do, as are psychotherapists in many other fields. But as a named modality, as a kind of abstract concept of Gestalt practitioners, take it away from individuals, we're somehow not taken as seriously as we should be. Really thinking strategically together, which we haven't been doing so far as an organisation. We've been much more about bringing people in, building the relationships, building the connections between training institutes, between trainees, between practitioners who were educated in different Gestalt traditions, bringing people together, finding space for dialogue. Now it's how can we really all join together in order to make a difference? If people want to make a difference, that will emerge. We haven't got a set of outcomes that doesn't fit with our notion of creative indifference. But we do need to work with the community to think, well, if we do want to do something about this, what can we do? What should we be doing? What might be the next step? Bringing people together is that we have potentially, and this is only potentially, but one idea that I have is putting ourselves out into the main arena where the research is published in mainstream journals. So, for example, Madeleine Fogarty, who's coming to our conference, she had a letter from an editor of a journal when she submitted a paper to say, we're not going to send this for review because Gestalt's too much of a minimal, an unimportant therapy. There aren't enough of you. There are things that we can do without, that are not too labour intensive. So if one of the things that came out of this would be another practice research network where we collect more data, specific aim of actually publishing something out of that data that we can use as evidence for NICE.
I remember a couple of years ago at a conference, somebody said that they didn't feel that there was much edge at our conference. How edgy do we think we're going to be able to get in Birmingham in June?
Well, I'd like to think that we will be able to really get edgy, because unless we do, we're not going to shake things up.
Right.
You know, there's something about really creating a space in which everybody's voice can be heard, and those voices are, you know, we are pretty good at contact and dialogue.
Yeah.
And handling difference and diversity. Doesn't mean that we always do it perfectly, but we do have an essential commitment to really working at that edge of contact and trying to move things forward in a way that is, I think, transformative. You know, and you see that, I feel that in the therapy room often. You know, we're pretty skillful at working in that way.
We decided to host the conference in Birmingham, whereas historically we've, the previous residential, 2-day residential conference in Nottingham, and then prior to that we've been in London and slightly further south. What's our, and then we were near Reading, last year. What's the sense of being in Birmingham this time? Why we moved to Birmingham?
We, as with many other organisations, felt that Gestalt is very London-centric at the moment. Right. We've had a lot of conferences in London, so we wanted to come back out in London, and we got a lot of feedback after the Nottingham conference at how lovely it was to have something a bit further away from the centre. But also Birmingham is famous for Spaghetti Junction. You know, it is a communication hub. We're trying to make it accessible and affordable for people. And I think that was the real, you know, those were the main factors really. We are also meeting on the Sunday. So as an organising committee, we're staying over on the Saturday night and going to meet on the Sunday to really work with what's come out of the conference and to look at that in the context of our I was going to say our mission statement, but I mean our constitution and our vision. And I think we're going to need to have to do some fine tuning. That part of us moving into a new strategic direction is going to mean that we're going to have to unpick our constitution a little bit and really think about whether it's still fit for purpose. And I think we'll be in a stronger position to do that